And so like we were finding like all these deals like for people that are, you know, like sadly literally underwater, not like financially, but like they're like, our house got totally destroyed. If we want to build it, we want to put it up on stilts. I don't even know what the difference between a Phillips and a flathead is. But the guy I was working with, he was like, he had like a, you know, a W-2 job and was like remote at the time, and like, you know, we were like, all right, he's gonna do this on the side. House on stilts? Like, are you crazy?
Big it up, big it up. Yep.
All right, welcome to Let's Talk Real with Mel. We are here with Jonathan Makovsky, broker, real estate broker in Connecticut and New York, but what, former CPA or
former CPA.
Yeah. CPA? How'd you get into? Well, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
All right.
So I started in as a CPA back in 2006, and we're at the Inman conference here, and you know so it started just like 10 blocks out here in Times Square, and kind of like with the whole idea of being a CPA to like use that as a benchmark to like, for, you know, get into like business later, whatever business meant. I had no idea at the time, but people are like, oh, you're good at math, so be a CPA and use that as the background to like, you know, further your career.
Whatever career that was.
Whatever career it was. And I had no idea. And, you know, so I started, and like I started in auditing, and I honestly like didn't even know what an audit was. Like outside of IRS, I was like, I don't know what auditing means. So I was doing it for a couple of years, and really like, it's like funny, like when you're in it, you get like so tunnel vision, like this is life, right? Because that's who you see your peers, you see your mentors, your clients, right? Are also all on that side of the business. And it's always like, I was always looking at like the front end of the business, like, how do I get there? Like that is interesting,
right?
Like they're making things happen. They're moving the world and things like that. And I was always like, you know, that was always kind of like my desire, but like I had no idea how to do it. And I was absolutely like, I did not like it. I mean, I worked literally right across the street, the building that we're looking at, the Alliance Bernstein building. I was on that floor taking the company public. I mean, not me, like I was, you know,
the team. You were part of the.
I was a little minion that was like getting coffee and for everyone else. But like we were
all working together, right?
But you know, till 2-3 o'clock in the morning in ungodly hours, and really did not like it. And so anyway, I was then had this, you know, really brilliant. I mean, not really brilliant. It was a really terrible idea. It was like, all right, like if I hate what I do, like let me do something else that I hate what I do and just make more money. So I was studying for the LSAT and going to go to law school. I'm gonna have a JD and a CPA, and that'll, you know, some firm will want me. And it was absolutely terrible idea. We got accepted to law school.
No, look, it works for some, right?
And it's great. Yes.
Yeah, it works for a lot of folks. It just maybe it sounds like.
Correct. If you want to be an attorney, absolutely. Like I never wanted to. Like I just thought like these degrees would help me for the background for what I wanted to do. When it's like, if I were able to talk to my former self, I would just be like, no, just go do what you like. Go work for someone that you want to do, that's doing it well, and start whatever they're paying you. I mean, of course, easier said now than hearing that, like, you know, like don't make money for the first, you know, 6-12 months after like going through college and never having money like for a long time.
It'll come later.
But, you know, that for sure was like a mistake. And yes, totally. Like, you know, a lot of people I worked with that are amazing CPAs, they love it, amazing attorneys and love it. You know, it just was not, like you mentioned, it was not my passion.
Okay.
But anyway, so like we were going to move down to your area in DC. Okay. And
you were gonna go to school there?
I was going to go to school
where?
At GW.
GW, okay.
So, my wife had like multiple job opportunities. Like we were going to be living in Foggy Bottom, like
everything was lined up. And
then so once I got accepted, because I think January 2010, I quit where I was working. I was like, I cannot do this. I was working at like a big financial firm in New Jersey, and like getting stuck in traffic every night on the way home. And it was like getting home, and also like just terrible hour. Like this
is your life.
Yeah. Yes. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm like, I'm done though. Like I was like, we didn't have kids at the time. I was like, I'm done. I'm quit. And so my brother-in-law was starting a restaurant near where we live. And, you know, we're just talking. I was like, hey, can I help you run it and do it? And like, just whatever, something until we go to law school.
Make some money, learn learn a new skill set.
Exactly. And I was like, I did it. And I was like, I loved it. And like, I was working the same ridiculous hours in the food industry. It was like, they're from 10 a.m. and locking up every night at midnight. And like, I was every day of the week. And like, so
I'm gonna jump in there, and you probably don't, or you may realize it, but your experience in the restaurant business served you now in real estate and being more service oriented. And there I'm sure you picked up some skill sets there that you weren't picking up at the financial institution.
100%. Exactly. And yeah, so it's like, it's funny because I had from the restaurant thing, to your point, I'll just get there in 1 second, but like from there, so it was like, I used that, like, I was like, I'm not going to law school. This is great. I ended up working at my friend's.
So you canceled law school. Okay.
Canceled law school, done, never went, and which was really the best move, because if I had that debt, that would have been, pretty challenging.
Right.
But, and then a friend's father had this really like cool, innovative to-go food packaging company that like, we did really well. Like they really had zero sales before, and I did that. And so like, to your point that I was mentioning is like, kind of like cool to like, looking back is like, all right, like I have a financial background. I have like a service operational background, from the restaurant, and now I have like a sales background. Like, so it's kind of like, that's a pretty good skill, like, skill sets to have. So that was like, again, like at the time, it was just like, what the hell am I doing? I'm not a good CPA. I'm not running a restaurant. Right. Like, this is like a dead end sales job. Right. Like I have nothing. Like none of it makes sense. Like looking back, it's like, all right, cool. Like these were good. Like you mentioned, these were good skills to have. So then I was looking at like tons of different businesses. Like I was looking like to start something in the city, like, like one of those, like, we'll pick up your laundry, pick up your like dry cleaning
opportunities.
Looking at like home health aid, care, like, I mean, everything. I was like, all right, I got to do something, because I'm like, this is not, I'm obviously not, this is not the end goal here.
I need to work. Right.
Yes. So I started in real estate, and like totally not with the intention at all to broker. Like I was like, I always thought of like, like some real estate salespeople is just like so salesy, so in your face, like, and I just, it did not relate. Like obviously now I look at it and it's like, yeah, those are not the good agents. Like the good agents are the ones that are here, like the ones that you see that are like, totally played a totally different level.
Or certain service based.
Yeah.
Trying to, like, how can we serve?
Exactly.
Not how can we take.
Exactly. Totally. And just like, hey, this is right. Like you find your client, like this is what you want. And like, I'm going to get that for you. I'm going to do that. I'm not telling you, hey, this is what you should want. Right. So, but anyway, yes, I started, and the idea was to just be fully like really the first goal was just to be buying multifamily. And obviously this is in January 2014. I certainly wish I bought every single piece of multifamily property I could buy. But I ended up kind of like transforming. Like I met with a lot of people. I was going to like, we were based in New York at the time. Now I'm in Connecticut, but at the time we were in New York, and I was looking in Jersey, PA, New York, Connecticut, and like just meeting with tons of people. I started on Bigger Pockets, like if you're familiar with that platform over there, like just like a way to like network with real estate investors, and like, and so I ended up like, I don't know, I probably met like, the whole real estate game, right? It's all just a funnel, and it's that whole, like, you have to meet so many people in order for it to work. And so I probably met
conversations this minute. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And like, so I probably met with like 50 plus people, and like, I found like my first business partner in Connecticut. I was like, all right, like this is like the kind of guy that I want to work with. I trusted him. He was financially secure versus risk, but like, we ended up looking, again, same funnel. Like we ended up looking like at 100 homes, putting tons of offers. None of those worked. And we started like direct mail campaign.
That worked.
Yep. That worked. But although it's like funny too, like the timing was right after Hurricane Sandy. Like for those not familiar, like that like destroyed like so much of like the tri-state area. And so like we were finding like all these deals like for people that are like, like sadly like literally underwater, not like financially, but like they're like, our house got totally destroyed. Like if we want to build it, we want to put it up on stilts and, do it FEMA compliant. And I'm like, like, I'm like, I don't even know what the difference between a Phillips and a flathead is. Like what, like, the guy I was working with, he was like, he had like a W-2 job and was like remote at the time. And like, we were like, all right, he's going to do this on the side.
Right.
It's like house on stilts. Like, are you crazy?
You got more opportunities than you expected.
Correct. Right. So from there, so started like networking, meetings. So I'm just like, I have deals. Like, these are good deals. Like, someone should buy these. Like, these people just want to give away the home.
So this time you were getting them under contract. You were working on assigning them.
I wasn't. No, I only wholesaled one. I was not wholesaling, but I was just like I would just give it. I was just like, hey, you want to and want? Yeah, you like just whatever you want to give them. Like, I think, like, what was I doing with the leads anyway? It was just like,
right.
You take them, build it, run. I don't know, but like, someone should buy these because there's money to be made here. And like, had I known now, I would have just listed them. You know what I mean? But like I said, I didn't associate as much with the realtor at the time.
Were you licensed at the time?
Yeah, I got one.
You had gotten licensed. Okay.
Yes. So anyway, but that was kind of like my start. So we started like fixing and flipping, and we started finding deals. I think we got our first one under contract in like the summer of 2014.
But then you quickly transitioned to commercial.
Yeah. So we so are you saying as like multifamily
more? Not more than 4, but in our area, commercial's 5 or more.
Correct.
I don't know if it's at the same.
Yes, totally. I feel like it's kind of like, it depends who you at. Like, when you speak to mortgage people, it's like, that's the different, right? It's like commercial, like it's commercial loans, which are, 5 or more units.
Right. But when I talk but when with lay people, I guess if there's such a thing,
right.
Then I'll say, more than one, would use commercial term.
Totally.
But you started getting into multifamily.
Yeah, so we started buying. Yeah, but I'm trying to remember. Our first multifamily was May of 2015,
okay.
And so funny. I'll just get it like
that's a quick turnaround.
It's
the first deal,
right?
2014 to now you're expanding.
Totally, and I guess as you know this well, it's just like great. Like, there's so many times like it was just like, I'm like, this is never gonna happen. Like, I remember every like Friday at the end of the week, I'm just like, and I have no property, and I don't do anything, and I got no deals, and I'm like, is that ever going to change? Is it ever going to happen? Is it like you kind of like, at some point it's just like, wow, it's like January through like July, like all day, every day, like
with no. So and I think that's what you're sharing is important. So I want to spend a little time on it, because a lot of people would have quit before that. I mean, they and that's where they always say, like in church, they'll say, you quit, don't quit, bro. Like, your blessing's right around the corner. Like, you keep the faith, and you kept the faith, and because you said, 6 months, no activity. I'm sure you have rent, you have, your wife, you have family,
totally.
You have bills, right? You have office rent, you have residential rent, you still need gasoline, I'm sure you like food with your meal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I gotta live life. Yeah.
And so how did you, what was it that allowed you to keep driving?
Great question. I mean, it's hard for me to, like, it goes back quite a number of years, so it's hard for me to like fully put myself back in that mindset. But like, yeah, it was like, I kept seeing those like cartoons, right, where the person's digging and they're just like totally done, and they're just like a foot away from the treasure trove of gold. Like, so like, I had that in the back of my mind, and I had some good people that I spoke to, but like, it was hard. I mean, there's no like, that's the one thing, like, from this Inman real estate conference, right? It's like, we all know what we need to do, and it's just like, you just got to keep, like, whether it's dieting or like, you just got to keep doing it, like, every single day. Like, you just got to keep doing it. And again, it's so easy to say it. It's so easy to say it, and it's just, it's hard. I don't know. There's no shortcut to it. If you're was ever listening to this, like, in that mode where it's like, we're not finding deals, like, it does happen. You don't know when, but like,
if you put in the work, you will get the result eventually. It just may not be when you want that result. So was there a moment when you said, you know what, let me go back to the law school route? Was there in that 6-month period, was there ever a point where you had to have a serious conversation with your wife about?
Yeah, I mean, God bless her, she's amazing. But I definitely not the law school route. But like
something different.
yeah, but something different. I mean, there's a lot of times like, we're in 2023.
Yeah.
So, from 2014 to even like 2019, like there were tons of times where it's just like, is this the right path? Like, and we were doing real deals like 2019, like we're flipping, big houses, we're building, we have like real business. And I'm just like, I don't know, like, is it sustainable? Can I do it? Like, is it going to so yeah, tons of, I didn't even know, like we're talking before, like, I'm just like, there's so many times there's like, I'm always just thinking, hey, like, what should I do? Like, maybe I should partner with one of these like big companies that's looking to do things that like, but, and, obviously like, a lot of people came here just like, hey, what's ahead? Like we have no
No expectation, right? We're just right.
So yeah, no, it's I mean, so anyway, to your point, like yeah, always thinking about that, always going through. I think I think most business owners, I think it's just normal to just like constantly thinking about those challenges and like, I don't know, like yeah, 22 was a good year and 21 was a good year, but I don't know, is 23 going to be a good year?
I mean, and you think about like when COVID hit and everyone was like, and I know you guys were super shut down, but still, I'm sure, you did a lot of business that you were found a way, but at that moment, a lot of people thought that the world was going to end, like, at least for them, that there would be no business, that you'd be stuck in the house, that there'd be not a single home sold in the MLS, and we found that just wasn't the case.
Yeah.
I say it's never as bad as it seemed. And it's never as good as it seemed too.
Absolutely.
So you have to
totally agree with that.
You have to be disciplined in the good times.
Yeah.
And then you have to be diligent in perseverance, and you have perseverance and keep pushing in the not as good times.
Exactly. Yeah. And to your point too, like one thing that I think about like a lot now is like there's always opportunities. Like even like with all these like, shifting, like, things that are happening in the market, and it's terrible as like the layoffs are and everything that's going on that we're seeing in all the tech companies. And I saw like, today some other companies are laying off and like, but like, right. And again, like obviously they're, feel terrible for who's ever going through that. But as a business owner, you also, use some of those things as opportunities, right? Like, hey, like there's some really good people that are going to be out there that could use an opportunity. That, may have not taken a chance before, that may have not done something before. And like, it's kind of like shifting, like just a mindset shift of like, right? Like every market, every time, like there's always like opportunity, like, just like fast forwarding, like we were talking before, like one of the things like everyone, is if any realtors are listening to this, like over the last 6 years, it's all been the same phone calls. You find any foreclosures or like multifamily homes, please call me. And it's like, I know, like you and the 5,000 other people that want to buy the same thing that thinking you're 2011, like that you're going to find that you like, no, but what about like all you people that are like, oh, I want to go back to 2011. I wish I was in that market, but now like there's office distress, right? And again, like you have to be crafty. You have to know what you're doing, and it's not for everyone, and it may never come back. But that was also the mindset too in 2010, like the real estate market is dead. It is never coming back.
Yep.
So like, it's so easy to think like, oh my gosh, those prices, if I can only, but like, it's the same thing now, right? In office. It's like, and I don't know that we have the distress levels. I'm not such an office guy. I'm trying to get into it.
Yeah, but they're particularly in this type of office.
Yeah.
Yes, there is. In a world in what's becoming more and more an online world.
Correct.
There is some, office distress more in certain areas than others.
Correct.
But yeah, we all have the kind of the blinders on, or the short-sightedness, and even we have, when I have a client, they'll say, well, I don't want to pay, the deal will fall apart over $5,000 or $10,000, right? And I'll say, I'll share a story. I said, my parents bought, some houses, 25 years ago for $30,000.
Yeah.
And now they're worth $350,000. I said, would it have made a difference if they paid 10% more or 50% more?
Yeah.
They wouldn't have wanted to. And everyone would have said, no, don't pay $10,000 more than it's worth. or I said, but in the grand scheme of things, you sell the house now, would it matter?
Totally.
You know,
Exactly.
and I think that we have to remind our clients and sometimes remind ourselves too, to think longer term, especially when we're our own client. And I know that, and I don't know if you've experienced that, but when I'm the buyer, I'm unreasonable, and when I'm the seller,
Of course.
I'm unreasonable too. Or it's like, damn it, I'm the worst client.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if you have.
Yeah, I know. I remember on one. So we bought. I think this goes to 2017, and like we bought another multifamily in Central Connecticut, and I remember like there was some issue with the roof, and like we're haggling over five grand, right? Maybe it was 10. I don't remember what it was, and like the broker was like, because in the commercial sense, like I use commercial brokers, more because I'm like a principal investor first,
Right.
but meaning not, like I'm not looking to make my money on those
Right.
transactions as that. And he's like, oh, I'll chip in half. And I'm like, no way. Like you deserve to get paid. Like I'm like not, taking that away. But like, yeah, like we bought, like it was, I mean, again, at the time it was like, I think we bought it for $410,000, sold it somewhere in COVID, I think in 21 for like six and a quarter, six and change, whatever.
But that 5,000 didn't hurt.
5,000.
It would have hurt more if you'd have got to keep the 5,000, but not bought the property.
Exactly.
You'd still have the 5,000.
So to find it, right.
Right.
And that, you know what? It's funny. You know what? Probably there's the one biggest regret that I've had. Well, two. The biggest regret I've had throughout this whole time is just not going bigger, right? Like that building that I bought for $410,000, I should have bought for 4.1 million and sold it for 6 point, whatever it is. Like that is definitely a mistake. And the one that I've made throughout the process. The second biggest mistake was like being like, oh, like I don't want a 7.5% return, or I don't want a 9% return. I want to make sure it's a double-digit return. And it's like, but like the question is like, do the numbers work? Does it get you the experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, does it get you, like, is it getting you what you want to that next point? And like, and you'll figure out, like, that's what business owners do, right? You're a business owner, like we just figure out like, okay, like, yeah, I bought it a little less return than I wanted, but like, it makes sense. I'm cash flowing. Like, of course, who doesn't want more money? Like,
Right.
And like, it's like the buyers that I see like have made the biggest mistake in the process with me have been the buyers where it's like they could afford their mortgage. They weren't moving in 2-3 years where it's like, oh my gosh, if we buy this, are we overpaying a little bit?
Right.
Are we overpaying? I can't sell. Right. It's like these buyers, these are long-term buyers that are moving to a community.
Right. With family, they want to be the schools for the kids. Like, this is a long-term vision they had.
Yeah.
But they're haggling.
And it's like, oh, like, there's $1,000 of rotted wood on the outside. Like, we need the sellers to do that. And it's like, but like we said, we're not going to like argue about, right? Remember, like you're not buying new construction. I promise there's always work that needs to get done. Like that's what real estate is. So that's like the biggest regret that I had, like just those small, like, you're not thinking like big picture when of course it made sense. Like, of course, if the numbers don't make sense, or again, you never want to be a buyer and not be able to afford payments.
Right.
Or again, if you're going to move, like those are times where I think it's a little different and you may want to find better buys.
Like we say, sometimes like if you're getting on an ROI on an ad, if one is giving you 2-to-1, one's giving you 4-to-1, and one's giving you 7-to-1, which one do you keep? All of them.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
But we want to say, no, I don't want to. I want to cancel the 2-to-1 and the 4-to-1, and I want to try to do the 7-to-1, make that the control, and then I want to try to find the 12 to 15-to-1.
Right.
And a lot of times that doesn't work. We have to take our wins when we get our wins.
Yeah.
Because as we know, with real estate transactions, especially, each one is unique.
Yeah.
Each one is unique, and sometimes that 30 days, especially the market we've seen over the past couple of years, the seller goes back to the board and sells it. I mean, that happened. I mean, I had a property I sold. We were under contract. Deal fell apart on the day of settlement because they wanted something fixed. Like, we're way outside of contingencies, but they just decided they wanted something fixed or wanted a $5,000 credit. And I was unreasonable, and I'm always like, no, we're not doing it. And I'd rather sell it, and we end up selling for $20,000 more to the next buyer. because the market was moving and in that way. But I'm sure you have story after story like that. But what do you like to do outside of real estate?
So outside of real estate, so I mean, usually this time of year, I'd be skiing. I love to ski. I tore my Achilles last summer, so that's a long recovery. It's just, I mean, they say 6 to 12 months. Like I'm 7 months in and I'm not recovered. So I love to ski.
Are you doing the rehab?
Doing the rehab.
Okay. It'll come back. I went skiing I guess last year, and I had a ACL reconstruction, and just for my own personal mental safety, I guess, I wore my Dondroy brace under my jumpsuit, and so I felt fully comfortable, so I'm sure, so there is light at the other.
Yes, totally. Totally. And every day is better. But so I love to ski. I try to stay active. With family a lot, which is great.
What about kids?
Yeah, so wife and 3 kids.
3. Okay, how old?
11, 7, and almost 2.
Okay, okay. You got a little one in the house.
Got a little one.
Wow.
Yeah.
My youngest is 10, and I can't even remember the 2 time. I tell you the time. Well, from your 11-year-old, that time goes very quickly.
Yeah, she's closer to being way closer to being out of the house than than newborn. I mean, it's just nuts. Like 7 years, right? She's out.
Right. What do you So I mean, and tell a little bit about your why. Like, why do you because you went from CPA, financial, restaurateur, packaging company, flips, real estate broker. But what is the reason? What gets you excited in the morning? Why do you work so hard? Why do you stay the course?
So I think it started as like building a lifestyle. I mean, I really enjoy having a certain lifestyle. I'd say many times I don't have a lifestyle. Like I don't have a life, but like I know I'm building that. Like I know some people are looking into retirement. Like I don't have, and it's not. I mean, I do work a lot of hours, but like it's not like I'm part of this hustle culture. Whereas,
well, you worked a lot of hours across the street too.
I worked a lot of hours across the street,
and probably the salary was the same. You know what I mean? Regardless of whether you worked 8 hours or.
Oh yeah, you're right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But so I'm in this to build a lifestyle. I love it. I really love the real estate part. I probably like the one thing that probably the brokerage that I just don't love is like always being on call.
Okay.
Right? Like I have one friend who just says it's availability, affability, ability in that order, right? So being available first, right? Because that's what the clients want, right? They finish their day at 10 o'clock at night. Like that's when they want to talk.
Yeah.
And, or if something cut right or like, so that I like, it's been probably the hardest thing throughout this time has like been the ability to totally shut down, like
close the laptop.
Yeah, just be done. So I'm trying to get there. I have like a director of ops in house, and like we have a team. I mean, people say, how do you run 3 different businesses, like the brokerage, the like developments, and the rentals, and it's like we have a team in place. But it's like I'm still not there. Like I know I'll get there. I hope next year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're on the way. You're building the team, and we all, I think, suffer from that guilt, that entrepreneurial guilt that we should have done more. And that's what can keep us on that can cause burnout eventually, because and so I think I saw a very good video by a friend of mine, Chris Ben-Amin, who talked about mental fortitude of climbing Mount Everest.
Yeah.
And in that he shared, once you set your metric, whatever that is, number of conversations per day, whatever it is, number of phone calls, number of activities, if you have your metrics and you meet that, then you should be able to go home with your head held high, cut the lights out and feel good. And if you work a little extra, then it's fine, but you've done what you came for.
Totally.
And I think that was a good lesson. I mean, I watched it twice.
I like that.
Because it just, it hits home personally for me, in terms of that feeling of not not having done enough, or I'm insufficient. I should have done more. And then yes, we have those days where we we don't have many days as entrepreneurs where you totally slack off. Right. But for us, slacking off is like I'll say, I'm leaving early today. Like it's 6 o'clock. I was like, well, yeah, exactly. I'm not here till tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right? And back again at 7:30 or whatever.
Totally.
Your day starts. So let me ask you, if we were to, if I, wanted either an investment property, in your parks, or had a property that I wanted to sell, some commercial property. I know you're doing commercial now, or multifamily, or even residential.
Yeah.
How would we reach it?
So you can probably the best way. I've started getting active on Instagram. So it's JMX. It's funny, it is JMX Realty Group. That's the name of the company. But I realized that we have group, but the GRP, there's another one, GRP at the end. Okay. And that's the one that's getting that we put everything on. So I have to figure out some way to merge it. Hopefully when some audiences, if they're watching this in a month from now, hopefully we've done that. But if not, look for the one that's GRP, because if you go to group, there's no content there. Okay. But Instagram or LinkedIn is a good place. You can find me over there. Those are probably best places to contact.
Okay. Any phone number you want to provide?
I think just reach out there, because because just depending on what it is, whether myself or
calls at one time,
or right, or just have a team member that can, there are some, I'm pretty niche in what I do. So if it's kind of in my area, I'll help work, but if it's a little outside, I'll help stay on top of it, I'll help together with my team.
And I know you have the two. What are the two micro areas that you would say you're the most strong in? If you had someone that specific, if they want to buy or sell something in these areas.
So there's a very specific area in Stanford, in mid-city, it's we're talking about a 3-mile radius, it's mid-city, Pepper Ridge, Newfield area, that is that's where I constantly have, the sellers continuously call me, and the buyers continue want to move into that one specific area. Okay. And I've been very niche, even with all these different businesses, even where we build, we build in 2 towns, we build in Westport and in Fairfield. I don't build in Stanford. I don't build any, so it's
so even within the 3 businesses, they have different clientele.
Yes. It's we're very niche in those businesses. So,
that's very good. Well, I'm sure people are gonna reach out to you and get your production. Make some more work for you. Hopefully, get out of there in a timely fashion. I appreciate it.
You're wonderful, Mel. Thank you very much.
All right.
Yeah.